HD, host of Healthline. One of the best ways to ensure you have minerals your body needs for healthy bones and soft tissue is to take advantage of this month's great special, Coral Calcium Plus. Buy 2 bottles, get the third one free. Call 800-370-3447. That's 800-370-3447.
Listen to Healthline daily at 2:30 p.m. Pacific, 5:30 p.m. Eastern on CRN.
Animal lovers, it's time for Rescue Radio. And now here are your hosts, Christina Hackett and Chad Atkins.
Good morning. You are listening to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk Radio. I am waiting for my co-host, Christina Hackett, probably another rescue emergency. You know, we're pretty much 24/7 nonstop. There's always something coming our way. But today we will be talking about many things, but one of the things I want to talk about first is this coming week is 4th of July, and many of you are unaware, or at least people who do not work in rescue and do not work at the shelter are unaware of what exactly that means for the animals out there. This week coming up will be the busiest week for any rescue or shelter out there. The hundreds, thousands of dogs that come into the shelter because of fireworks, the fear of, they jump out, and then they go running loose. It's uncanny how many animals come in. Another reason that many of the animals come in that people don't realize is that many people go on vacation and they don't want to pay the $30, $40, $50 to board their animals at a boarding facility and take care of that fee and take care of their animals like they are family members. So unfortunately what they will do is they will drop them off at the shelter, and some, they hope that when they come back, the animal will be there. And if not, many times they'll just adopt a new one, or, over the summer they'll wait because they might have more travel plans. So unfortunately, the sad part of it is that 4th of July tends to be a happy celebration for America, but a sad celebration for not even a celebration, but a sad moment for the animals that enter any county or city shelter. It looks like I today will be having Christina Morgan, who is my business partner with PawWorks. She's going to join me online right now. Christina, are you there?
I am.
How are you this morning?
I'm good. We have a couple of emergencies over here.
Of course we do. When don't we have an emergency?
Oh, my goodness. So little Billy got stung by a bee, and he's at the emergency room right now.
So who is little Billy? And we have about a minute before we go into commercial break, but tell the listeners who Billy is and how he came into PawWorks.
Well, Billy was relinquished by his owner. We assume a breeder at the Ventura County Animal Shelter, and was told he was 4 months old. Well, turns out he was only 6 weeks old, so he's tiny. He's about 8 ounces. And we took him in as a rescue, and we've had him at the rescue waiting to be neutered, make sure he's okay. He got his shots too early, so we've been watching, making sure he doesn't break with parvo. And today I got the call that he got his little face is completely swollen up, so I actually rushed him to the emergency room this morning, and I'm waiting on the vets to give me a call back.
And that's something that people don't realize, that, doing rescue is not for the faint of heart. It's something that is constant. It's 24/7. It's a lifestyle. As we both know, our family members have to endure our crazy schedules. I can imagine. I mean, you have a husband and 2 kids, so what they go through with us, it's a whole lifestyle.
It is. It's really an adventure. It's sort of that.
Yes. Sometimes, like I said, it's not for the faint of heart. But Christina's going to be staying online with us today. When we come back, we're going to do the news stories. But you're listening to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk Radio.
Have you ever considered adding a home security system but thought it would be too expensive? Here's the good news. There's never been a more affordable time to help protect your home, valuables, and your loved ones. You can now get a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home, your authorized ADT dealer, with the installation of a new ADT monitored system. Here's even better news. Your new system, worth $850, is free. You pay just a $99 installation charge and purchase monthly monitoring for less than $2 a day. Call Protect Your Home today at 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. Get the peace of mind that comes with owning an ADT monitored system, plus a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home. Call now, 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. 36-month monitoring contract required. General terms and conditions apply. Visit protectyourhome.com/terms.
And we are back to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk Radio. Christina Morgan, are you still with us?
I am.
And now Miss Hackett has made it in today.
Hi, Christina. How's it going?
It's good. We have a little emergency going on here.
Uh-oh.
A little tiny chihuahua, a little 8-week-old, that got stung by a bee, so that was our excitement this morning.
Oh, goodness.
So we're gonna go straight into the news stories, and Christina, feel free to jump in. But we're gonna start with the Encinitas City Council are voting Wednesday to stop the sales of puppy mill dogs. Although currently there are no stores that sells commercially bred dogs, the residents of Encinitas, California, have decided to support this ordinance in case future pet stores may open in the future.
Well, that's a big deal because, I mean, you see so many of these puppy mill dogs that then end up in the shelter once they're done breeding, and then, you know, then they're older, overbred, and they have a number of medical issues later. So,
and you know, for Paw Works, this is actually kind of near and dear to our heart because we actually have a store at the Oaks Mall. And at the Oaks Mall, Christina can attest that there is still a store that sells puppies. We hear puppies in the back right now.
Oh, she's okay.
That's probably another emergency, but
yeah. And it happens all the time. And I have to say too. I mean, we're talking about the news, but I mean, in the rescue world, I know I infuriate everybody in my life, because it's like, okay, yeah, I'll be right there. And even the show, it's like, okay, it starts at 12, but then it's like, oh my gosh, emergency traffic.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I've got to deal with this sometimes I just grab them and go. I'm like, okay, come on guys, they're coming to the show with me. So yeah, it's just a matter of like timing and dealing with emergencies. It's just one thing after another that people don't really see that part. They see, and I know even at your shop, you guys have an amazing shop, and when you come in, you just see the dogs. They look so cute and they're available and they're loving and they've been socialized and they're ready for their forever homes, but they don't see the behind the scene things that really happen in rescue.
Which is nonstop. I mean, it, like I said, and before you walked in, I was saying it's a 24/7 job. It's our families, our friends, they have to be part of this lifestyle or we end up alone.
Right. Which, I don't know, I'm pretty close to that, I think.
It truly is a lifestyle. But back to the puppy mill store. The reason this is near and dear to us is because in the Oaks Mall, there still is a store that sells puppies. You know, their claim to fame is that they're not puppy mill store dogs, but you know, I'm not sure where
How can they not be?
I'm not sure where you get puppies that are purebred.
Right. That are papered.
Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I make no accusations against them, but at the same time, you know,
I can. I've seen the complaints come in. I've seen, because I volunteer at the Agora shelter, and that's under their jurisdiction. And so I see the people come in for the complaints, and they like the officers are being sent out there, just the conditions of the dogs and what's going on and things like that. So I've seen that myself, so I can say that.
Yes, and we've actually been given calls from people who have purchased, you know, a $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 dog and then want to surrender 6 months later when it's not so cute and fluffy and fun. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot more work and you have to pay for the trainer. We've gotten, you know, a handful of those calls. So,
you know what, guys, I want to jump in also, and it's certainly not about bashing someone else, but I think one of the things that makes us different are, you know, rescue organizations versus, as we call them in the old way, you know, the puppy mill store, is that we will always take our dogs back.
Absolutely.
I think, Christina, you and I and Chad, I mean, you know, anything happen, how many times have we paid for vet bills where a dog has come down with parvo or something that, you know, nobody wishes on the dog, but it can happen.
Right.
So I think that's really what it is. You know, there's a big old sign that says no refund. And to me, part of being in this business, it's really not a business. You're really in this to save lives and not to create a bunch of lives that are going to either get sick or end up in the shelter, because it's really against all the policies now that we have. And
Right.
so I think it's really important to recognize that, you know, please don't shop, please adopt, because rescues will stand behind our animals, and they may come with their quirks, okay, but, you know, you have somebody who cares what happens to the animal. I think that's really key.
But even beyond that, I mean, we all morning have been dealing with a beautiful Maortic Romanian sheepdog.
Yes.
Purebred, papered, flew in from Romania.
$15,000.
$15,000.
Yes.
Passport, all that. Went to one single family and ended up having issues nonetheless. No matter, you know, and he was great with this one family, but, you know, circumstances ended up he changed, and he ended up in the shelter. Now we're having to take this herding animal who
And put them in a domestic situation.
Exactly. And it's not working.
Right.
You know, so we're having to think outside the box because we're rescuing. His life does matter.
Right.
But it doesn't matter just because you do purchase an animal that you're going to get the perfect animal. You're still going to have to train. You're still going to have to work with them.
Even if you spend that money, it doesn't mean that the animal doesn't need all of that attention. And so I actually had a personal experience with the particular pet store that you guys are referring to. My neighbor called me, and she says, "Oh my gosh, Christina, I have this horrific situation. We don't know what to do." So my husband bought a puppy, cute little Yorkie, and so now this little guy, like, he needs a $5,000 surgery. So very often they're overbred. There's medical conditions. Sometimes they're mental. You know, things happen. And she said, well, they called the pet store, and the pet store said, oh, well, they'll come in and exchange it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll exchange it.
We all know what that means, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We all know what that means.
But even beyond that, I mean, I don't think anybody here is against proper breeding. I think we need to keep the bloodlines. You know, I think it's healthy, but it's the overbreeding. It's just like the same concept of pit bulls. I mean, when pit bulls first came around, you know, we have, you know, the little rascals, and they were the nanny dog. But then it got so hyped up and everybody loved it and everybody wanted it that everybody bred them and everybody backyard bred them, which was not the right thing to do.
Right.
So when breeding is done appropriately, and that's why I think, you know, laws do need to be passed, so that, you know, you do have to get a license every time you want to breed an animal. There needs to be, I mean, we should do it for humans as well, but
we're putting a lot of people in a clinic.
But, you know, it doesn't, I think there needs to be more responsibility. There needs to be more laws passed. And, you know, that brings me to the next story, which is the Humane Society of the United States. Christina, did you want to?
Yeah, so more than 20 dogs were rescued by the Humane Society of the United States from a suspected dogfighting operation in Jefferson County, West Virginia. The siege happened on June 25th, 2015, when HSUS, in collaboration with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, executed a search warrant at a residence in somewhere, Kearneysville. I'm like, okay, I can pronounce that, Kearneysville, West Virginia, that led to the rescue of dogs ranging in age from 10 months to early adulthood. Some of the rescued dogs had scars that are indicative of dogfighting. A fighting pin and fighting paraphernalia were also found on the site. So this kind of stuff infuriates me, sends me crazy.
But one thing I do want to say is, Christina, you're good friends with Wayne Pacelli, who's the head of HSUS, the Humane Society. And one thing that people need to realize is, and we're coming up to a commercial break, so I'll say this fast and then we'll come back to it, that the Humane Society is not a rescue organization. They do these sieges, they do stuff like this, but they are more about legislation and changing the way the laws work, which is important.
Those are the things that are important. We have to change it to fix it.
I have a lot more to say about that when I come back because I think people get things mixed up. But you're listening to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk Radio.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson. Attention men who've taken Androgel or any other testosterone therapy products. Androgel or other low-T products have been linked to heart attack, stroke, pulmonary embolism, deep vein thrombosis, even death. Scientific studies indicate that the use of testosterone therapy products may double a man's risk of heart attack. If you or a loved one took Androgel or a testosterone therapy product and suffered from a heart attack, stroke, pulmonary embolism, deep vein thrombosis, or any other cardiac event, you might be entitled to financial compensation. You have rights, and you need to let us fight for your rights. And you pay no fees unless we win. So call the Tort Attorneys right now. 800-557-7921. 800-557-7921. That's 800-557-7921. Cases may be referred to participating law firms in your jurisdiction.
Sorting out lots of stuff can be overwhelming. Professional organizer Nicole Anzia.
Really thinking about it and trying to decipher where to start is the hardest thing. Usually once you dig in and just pick one small project to do, you'll find that it maybe is not as challenging as you thought it might have been, and hopefully you'll gain some momentum.
How do you decide where to start? If it's a big space, divide it into quarters with tape or string. Then it won't look daunting. Do just one thing in one section, like take out the trash. For a smaller project like a dresser, take out one drawer of stuff and look at it all.
You really have to make a decision to either put it back or not. Accessing everything all at once gives you the best sense of what you have, the condition of things. Putting back your 15th T-shirt, you might think, oh, actually, I don't think I need 15 of these T-shirts.
Anzia's website is neatnik.org. That's neatnik.org. That's Primetime Focus, brought to you by AARP. I'm Aileen Ellis.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-351-8614. That's 800-351-8614. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-351-8614.
And then they still won. Welcome back to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk.
So before we went on commercial break, we were talking about the HSUS, which is the Humane Society of the United States. And one thing I wanted to say about them is it's a great organization, but people sometimes misunderstand what they do. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of programs that go on, and they raise a lot of money. I mean, millions of dollars every year. And what people think is that they go and rescue animals, that they go and, go into the shelters. That's not what primarily the HSUS is about. What they are primarily, from my understanding, and I might be corrected on this, but they're about changing the law, about changing the legislation, going in and fighting the fight that needs to be done in the Supreme Court.
To support the animals.
Would you agree with that, Christina Morgan?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think what people need to understand, there's really two tiers in rescue, and there may actually be three, argumentably, but the way I look at it is, we have the rescues which are grassroots. We're in there we're right there with these shelters.
Which is who we are.
Who are we,
right.
Yes. And also with the animal control officers. And then you have to change the laws from the top. The laws from the top have to be changed by large organizations who can afford to put lawyers up in Congress, in the legislature, and just being right in their face and showing them what's going on.
Because one of the complaints about HSUS is that most of the money that is raised goes back to administrative costs. But what they don't understand is it costs money to pay for attorneys. It costs for money to legislate. It costs to lobby. It costs accounting. All of this costs money, which is where the administrative costs come from. And then you have a CEO like Wayne Pacelli who makes a 6-figure salary, but this man is constantly going. He's constantly in meetings. He's constantly putting his face out there. So, $300,000, which is what I understand he makes somewhere around there. Sounds
probably
like
probably a little bit less, but anybody can look at that on GuideStar or, on their 990s. But more importantly, I think it's the fact that, he is the face of that organization, and he is just, you want to believe the guy because he's great. Not only does he, he's Yale educated, but besides that, he is, he's a vegan. He preaches what he believes what he preaches.
He walks the walk and talks the talk.
Exactly. And I think so many of us, have a hard time doing that sometimes. And I think that people look at the HSUS and they see the stories and they say, oh, well, they don't fund shelters, they don't do this. But the thing is, you must have that division of labor I think in our industry. You must have those that work at the top to change the laws from the top down, and then you must have the grassroots, and we have to get there somewhere in the middle. So, I know a lot of people have different ideas about ASPCA and PETA and HSUS, but all these organizations have their position in rescue and do incredible things to help animals. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and it's just like the situation that we talked about in Oklahoma with the guy Murphy with his dog. I mean, yes. a group like HSUS is going to come in there, and they're the ones who's going to look at that. And I'm not saying they're doing it now.
Yes.
But a group such as that has to come in there because the single person can't do it. But a group like HSUS can go in there, and they have the power behind them
the powerhouse
to change the laws in Oklahoma. Because, the fact that his service dog was shot right in front of him, they were within the law, but that's the reason those laws need to be changed.
Absolutely. And you know what? I would love to, we could probably talk the whole time about this, but one thing I want to focus on is the next story because it's getting hot out there. There was, in Alabama, Corporal Josh Coleman left his community relations police dog Mason in the back of his hot patrol car. 3-year-old Mason died Friday night after his handler Coleman realized that he had left him in the car after changing duties on Thursday night. Although it is uncertain as how long the dog was left in the vehicle, Coleman took the dog to see a veterinarian where he later died of respiratory distress. On commercial break, Hackett over here was telling me a story, and it's a hot topic, and again, we're going to be hitting commercial break here, but I'd like you to start with, the story you were telling me.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's the thing. It's getting hotter. It's hotter all over the country, and people think, oh, I'm just going to run in somewhere real quick. And they come back, and their dog's in respiratory arrest, and it's like, oh, my gosh, how could this happen? Oh, I cracked the windows. Cracking the windows, their bodies are not designed to stay in a hot car. So, it's really infuriating. People need to understand. You wouldn't, they do it with their kids too. You shouldn't do it with your kids, but you don't need to do it with your kids. You don't need to do it with your dogs. Leave them at home if that's where you're at.
And so when we come back, there was actually there's a story out there right now here locally,
very disturbing
where
story.
A transport for a rescue or a shelter, and one of the animals died of heat stroke. So we'll be telling that story when we come back. But you're listening to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk Radio.
When you really want Italian food, you've got to go to Columbo's. Columbo's Italian Steakhouse and Jazz Club, Colorado Boulevard, Eagle Rock. It's that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. If you haven't been to Columbo's, you don't know what you're missing. Delicious food. The steaks on this side are fabulous. The seafood so fresh and flavorful. Columbo's family Italian specialties are Southern California legendary, and the meatballs, the best in the West, North, South, and East. Plus service that's friendly but not fawning. And jazz every night, and it's also affordable. That's what makes Columbo's special. And they make special easy, whether for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. That's why when you really want Italian food, you've got to go to Columbo's, because it really is that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Columbo's, making special easy every day. Columbo's, mangia.
Are you worried about losing your home to foreclosure? If you've been threatened with foreclosure or receive legal papers from your bank, you have approximately 30 days to respond. If you do not respond, you could lose your home. You have rights. Act now to protect your rights. You can stay in your home. Many times you can even modify your loan. The bottom line is you can get past this, but you must act right now. If you've been served by your bank and you're worried about losing your home to foreclosure, now is the time to fight back and save your home. Time is limited, so call the professionals at National Foreclosure Defense right now.
800-515-6309. 800-515-6309. 800-515-6309. 800-515-6309. That number again is 800-515-6309.
Did you know that with a bachelor's degree, on average, you can make almost twice as much over a lifetime than a person with just a high school diploma? Yes! According to the U.S. Census Bureau, you can make almost twice as much. Going back to college is now easier than ever. There are select online colleges that provide laptops to their students. In fact, there are thousands of college programs on your laptop. You can go to college anywhere and everywhere right from a laptop. Call My College Laptop and you can find hundreds of programs from accredited colleges and universities nationwide. Start a new career in law enforcement, business, information technology, healthcare, and hundreds of others. Call My College Laptop to find an online college that will provide you with a laptop. In no time at all, you can double your earning potential. Double your earning potential. Call now. 1-800-582-7531. That's 800-582-7531. 800-582-7531.
Trying to sell your old car? Instead, donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind. Pickup is free and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats, whether they run or not. Call right now and receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call 1-800-785-9618. Donate your car today. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Oh, CRN listeners, this is Michael Horn, inviting you to join me and my co-host, Sommelier Nicole Nielsen from Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, as we present What's Cooking on Wine. Find out about the latest trends in wine, great food, spirits, and a whole lot more. It's What's Cooking on Wine, done live at 6 o'clock Monday nights at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Pasadena, California, and then the replays throughout the weekend right here on CRN. So if you love wine and you love great food, it's What's Cooking on Wine right here on CRN.
Welcome back to CRN Rescue Radio. Just kind of put everything together. So we were talking briefly before the break about the story with Otis. So Otis was a Baldwin Park dog. And there's lots of speculation. There's lots of things out there about what happened, but
and here's the thing, we're not here to point fingers. It's more to educate and people to understand. Accidents happen, and this sounds like it was an accident, and it's an unfortunate accident. So there's no reason to point fingers or say anybody's at fault. But
and there's not. But I think the key point to pull out of this is now Otis was transported by people who do this for a living. So he was in a car. Whatever the official necropsy says that he passed from a heat stroke. And there's lots of different speculations about what happened or, who had him, and he was on his way to transport. But the bottom line is even professionals, these are people who this is what they do, can run into a situation like that where the dog falls victim to a heat stroke. So I think the key thing for people to understand is, you know what, your dog is fine. at home. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to have the dog in the car. Even if you're just running, to 7-Eleven, especially here in Southern California. I mean, it's been really warm, and we've had some days that were over 100, which doesn't
Yes.
happen very often, but it is happening. And so,
But even if it's 85, 90 degrees, when you close the windows and it's just a crack, it's still, you're in a very hot car
it's
that
much
heats up,
hotter.
heats very quickly.
And
I want to
yeah.
jump in because I think Christina Hackett, she really hit the nail on the head. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I'm from Europe, and in Europe, people take their dogs to places. They're allowed on patios and restaurants, whatever. We live in California. You're not allowed to take your dog anywhere. So I never understand this thing where people say, unless you're taking your dog from your home to your vet and back or whatever.
Or to the dog park or or something like that. If you're doing an
exactly.
activity with your animal.
Why should you have your dog with you? And I can actually say I have this conversation with my husband. My husband's like, "Oh, let's take Bear," and I'm like, "Why? What's the dog going to add? And what is he going to get out of this? Oh, well, it's fun for Christian, who's my son." And I'm like, "Okay." So we have that conversation too. So I think there's a lot of people out there who thinks that it's fun to take your dog and then leave him in the car.
Again, you hit the nail on the head where it's for us. It's
Right.
not for the dog.
Well, and in the heat, you have to do what's in the best interest of the dog.
Absolutely.
And I watched a very disturbing video. They had the whole thing on video. An 11-month-old boxer. They were taking a couple was on the way to a wedding, and they stopped by IKEA just to pick up something for a wedding gift, and they spent more time in there than they expected. And unfortunately, the entire footage of the dog. I unfortunately watched it because it's something that'll be permanently in my brain. But they just thought, they're just running in to get something real quick. And then they actually showed people busting windows, trying to get into that car, trying to save that dog, trying to get the dog to the vet, and then the people coming out. And unfortunately, the boxer did pass. And they think they're just running in real quick, or they're.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, it's like, if you're not used to always having them with you, it's too easy for you to. We get distracted.
People leave.
So why are you
people leave their
yourself
kids
up?
in the car and forget.
Yeah,
right.
So
exactly. I just read it on in the news. A lady left her child in the car, and I fully believe that she had no intention of doing that. But you forget, you're
Right.
running in, you're busy. We're so busy. We're on our cell phone. We're, talking to this person, talking to that person. You forget.
Well, and that's what happened. This guy was a police officer. This is his
police
community
dog.
relations dog. And
Right.
now there's a lot of call for him to be taken off the police force and stuff like that.
But I bet, and just reading the story, it looks like, he probably was pulling a double. And he was tired.
Changed switches and stuff.
And
his rotation.
He probably completely forgot. He probably had just worked probably 12, 14, 16 hours.
Right.
And he was exhausted. And it's unfortunate because he's going to have to live with that guilt.
Right. I couldn't even imagine
Yeah.
if even it's like I have my personal dogs, but even my rescue dogs, it's like I've done it to where I check and double check because sometimes I pile so many dogs in there. I'm like, okay, let's make sure there's nothing hidden under this seat, But
That's
it's
right,
just
and you should always do counts. We do the same thing when we transport animals. We do counts.
yeah. Definitely. And this situation, I don't necessarily think that he should be taken off of the police force, but I wouldn't, and I'm sure he feels guilty, but I don't know how comfortable I'd be, giving him another
dog.
community relations dog. So,
I probably wouldn't give him another dog.
Yeah, mistakes can happen. We're all
Yes.
human.
Yes.
I know there's things that I've done that I'm like, oh my gosh. Fortunately, or
Yeah.
it hasn't resulted in something as tragic as this, but I've made mistakes where I'm like, really? The dog was on the balcony. What happened? Okay. I didn't bring the dog back in. And then, 3:00 in the morning, I'm rushing over there like, okay, come on inside. But it's something we do get caught up in it, but just please, 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 guys, don't have your dogs in the car. There's no reason to
Especially this time of year. For the next 3 months, leave your dog at home.
It's
unless
warm,
you're going
it's hot out
straight to the park and you're going to let them out.
Or if you're going, even if you're going to see family and you want to take the dog, okay, then take the dog. But just be very cautious of it. I don't care. Put a note on your sun visor or something that, Fido is in the back seat, because what happens is you get distracted And in this time, it's like you don't want to leave your dog in the car, because then that's just tragic.
And so again, this is probably one of those other subjects that we could talk the whole show about.
Right.
But, I see that today you have little Ariel.
Yes, I brought in Ariel. We talked about Ariel last week. She was part of Jets Joints medical segment. She was the one who was rushed in just before the show last week for her emergency C-section. And then on the air last week, we got the call from the veterinary's office that unfortunately none of the puppies had made it. They were alive on ultrasound, but once they got in there, then we were there was nothing that they could do for the puppies. But Ariel here, she's getting extra attention from me. So so I did bring her in the car, but of course we came straight here, and so she's got a little scar there from her C-section, and she's getting lots of extra attention.
And she looks healthy, like you said. Previously, she came from Baldwin, or
she was from Downey.
Downey,
and she took 3 leashes and a muzzle.
And let me tell you, she's probably 12, 15 pounds. Yeah. She's not very big, so
it took 3 of us to get her out too. It was like,
apparently she was so terrified, but she's doing. I mean, she's here in the studio with me. Yeah. She's not trying to go after anybody. She's had some major trauma in her life, and now she's lost her puppies. But thankfully, she'll never have to have puppies again.
No, we got that taken care of at that time, and so then she'll.
And when we come back, we'll be talking about Petey, our pet of the week.
Petey is cutie.
You're listening to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk Radio.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-351-8614. That's 800-351-8614. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-351-8614.
It's easy to start decluttering, get distracted, and never finish. Professional organizer Nicole Anzia.
Finishing a task completely is really important. As soon as you've decided what can be tossed, throw it in the trash. As soon as you've decided what can be donated, figure out where you're going to take it within the day. Put it in your car so it's already there and you're already halfway done, so that you feel a sense of accomplishment and so that it's easy to pick up where you left off.
When you leave those piles in the house, you're not showing off your real progress.
When there are 2 people in a relationship and one does not want to start the process of decluttering and downsizing, one person really has to take the lead. And then oftentimes the people who are sort of more apprehensive about getting rid of things really start to get on board.
If not, do a rough start off something small, hand it to your partner, and ask him or her to finish up. Anzia's website is neatnik.org. That's neatnik.org. That's Primetime Focus, brought to you by AARP. I'm Aileen Ellis.
Welcome back to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk.
So today we just have totally went off schedule.
Oh, well, that's okay. We're kind of bouncing all over the place.
This is normally our call-in section, but so I'll give the number. It's 818-353-1276. If you want to call in this segment, talk about anything, please do. But we're right now going to go to our pet of the week, which is Mr. Petey.
He's so cute.
I got to tell you, Petey...
He's just enjoying the little neck rub there.
Yes. Petey was one of my choices when I went to the shelter a few weeks back. He is just a complete love bug. He's about 7 years old. He's a brown and white Chihuahua, of course.
Well, there's shortage of Chihuahuas here in Southern California.
But the thing about Petey that I love is he is just, even being in the shelter, he was the sweetest, danced, he would wiggle his butt, everything about him.
He doesn't seem characteristic of a Chihuahua. He's not barking at me.
No. and as you can see, I'm holding him and he just falls asleep. All he wants to do is just be loved and cuddled, which is not uncanny for a Chihuahua. But this guy and his little dancing ability, and he gets along great with everybody. I've never seen him, bark or snap at a child, a person, a dog. I mean, all he wants to do is be loved.
Oh, he just wants someone to cuddle up with.
Wouldn't you agree, Christina?
Absolutely. He's one of my favorites. And, of course, I love Chihuahuas. You can never have just one. They're like potato chips.
That is true. I have 3 Chihuahua mixes. How many do you have? You have 3 as well, Christina?
Yeah, we stopped counting at this house.
Well, I actually only have 1 personal Chihuahua, but I get plenty of extras from,
of course.
Yeah, so personally I have 1 Chihuahua. So, but Petey, he just looks like a super cutie.
And today he's going to be at the store right after the show at the Oaks Mall. It's Paw Works. The number there, if you have any questions, is 805-852-1744, and it looks like we have a call.
So we have Caitlin in Oxnard. Caitlin, this is Christina and Chad on Rescue Radio. How can we help you today?
I was just curious what Paw Works is doing about spaying and neutering in Ventura County.
What we're doing? Well, right now, I guess that question is for me.
Yes. And I do know that you guys have a number of things that you're doing with spay and neuter clinics and things like that.
So currently what we're doing is monthly we're holding a spay and neuter clinic for the residents, low-income residents of Oxnard. Many people don't know that 43% of the animals that go into Ventura County Animal Services come directly from Oxnard. It's a lower income residential area, so we figured why not hit it at home. So we go in there with the mobile clinic from Valley Vet, and once a month, because we fund it ourselves. It's been very difficult to get donations for this, and I'm not quite sure why, because for the most part, when we get a medical case or we want to do a transport, a flight, we've never really had difficulty raising donations. However, when it comes to spay and neuter clinic, people don't want to help people.
Can I just jump in?
Yes.
On that one? So this is my analysis, and I don't know what you guys think, but I just think that flying a dog on a private airplane is a lot more sexy than spay and neuter. And I think that people like to donate to things that are a little bit different. And I think that spay and neuter is just too blah. And it's sad because spay and neuter is really what's going to change everything. It's really getting to the root cause because, as you guys know, dogs breed exponentially. Cats breed exponentially. I think there's some crazy number when you do the pyramid of exponentialism that there's like 10,000 animals. So we have to find a way, and Hackett, I want you to jump in with that. How do we make spay-neuter
sexy?
A sexy sort of thing.
Yeah. I want to jump in real fast on that. I agree with you that it's not sexy, but at the same time,
candy-coated balls. I don't know.
But I do also want to say that I think people who do typically donate don't want to help. And I don't know how, for a lack of better words, low-income people, because they feel like they want them to take social responsibility on their own. Where what they don't realize is if you're on a budget or low income, $300, $400, $500, and yes, there are clinics out there that'll do it for $60, but then you have to take off work and you have to drop it off and you have to pick it up at 1 o'clock, and there's a process of a 2-month out because they're so booked up. So, when it comes down to it, $300, $400, $500 out of pocket is something that no one's going to do.
Well, they just can't. They can't. And so, I think there definitely has to, there's got to be a way to kind of glam it up a little bit.
Candy-coated balls.
Yeah, candy-coated balls.
That's
what I
honestly watching Candy Birth. Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah, so
it's plug for Candy in case she's listening.
Right. So it's really difficult because everyone loves puppies. They think they're so cute, but they don't understand that those puppies are the ones that are filling up the shelters every day. So, yes, there are some low-cost clinics. What you guys are doing, and even I remember we spoke with Darlene from Bark Avenue last week, and, it's like, okay, 50,000 are coming in from these 3 zip codes. Mm-hmm. So, cute.
20,000.
Oh, was
20.
Okay. Well, maybe I added the ones from Oxnard.
You added a few.
It really doesn't matter because we're putting millions of animals to sleep. So, You know,
Yeah,
I think
50,000,
adding a zero
20,000.
actually may not be a bad thing.
Exactly. So, so you guys are doing the spay and neuter clinics, and it is for the lower income. And these are people that, you know, there's a lot of just farm workers and stuff in Oxnard. So they're busy trying to put food on the table. Yes. And yes, they have a dog. I read a statistic that said the fifth, like for low income people, the thing that they spend the fifth highest priority is on their dogs, which I found extremely interesting for lower income. But they can't jump to a $600 spay and neuter.
Yes.
That they can't do. So they might, I mean, they do provide food, but when you're low income, you just can't pay for that, you know, that extra cost of any kind. So.
And I want to throw in something else also there that, you know, I have to say that it's not, just because you can't afford to buy the designer, you know, doggy leash or the designer food doesn't mean you're a bad dog owner. And I think sometimes people need a little help, and they're extremely grateful. And I think that's one of the things we
absolutely, Christina. We 100% agree. And you're listening to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk Radio.
CRN travelers, relax at the beautiful Fountain Grove Inn and Conference Center in Santa Rosa, California. Come to quality and come to luxury. Experience the newly renovated guest rooms. They're generously sized and they're decorated in the Tuscan tradition. They have great, incredible pillow-top mattresses, luxurious linens, and down-filled comforters. The Fountain Grove Inn also offers complimentary Wi-Fi and internet access. There's warm cookies and coffee every evening in the hotel lobby, and you can visit the newly remodeled Equus Restaurant and Equus Lounge with its new wine bar. It's the ideal place to relax and enjoy a glass of wine and watch our What's Cooking on Wine show on CRN with host Larry Van Alst on Wednesdays. It's the Fountain Grove Inn, Hotel, and Conference Center located in the heart of Sonoma wine country. It's easily located in Santa Rosa off the 101 Fountain Grove Parkway exit. Call 707-578-6101. That's 707-578-6101 or visit fountaingroveinn.com.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Homeowners, there's never been a more affordable time to help protect your home and loved ones. You can now get a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home, your authorized ADT dealer, with the installation of a new ADT monitored system. Call Protect Your Home today at 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. Call now. 36-month monitoring contract required. General terms and conditions apply. Visit protectyourhome.com/terms.
Hi, this is Fred Dreyer. Join me and Michael Horn on the PM show Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern here on CRN Digital Talk. We talk about things in the sports world nobody else does. So listen in to me and Mike at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on CRN Digital Talk. And go to crntalk.com for more information on other show times. And don't forget to take us with you by downloading the CRN app on the App Store.
Welcome back to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk. So that went by quick.
That went by really quick.
Because I was here.
There you go. Okay. Thank you, Morgan.
Thank you, Hackett.
So one thing that we only have about 4.5 minutes here left, but as I was saying at the beginning of the show, before Hackett was here, that we are on the brink of 4th of July. Which is the busiest of any shelter.
It's always tough. The 5th of July is Death Day at the shelters. People don't really understand that and what that means for so many animals.
And so, keep your dogs inside. 4th of July, keep them inside. Don't let them outside all day.
Turn a radio on, turn TV on.
If you need to take them outside, walk them on a leash, because the sound of the fireworks scares the animals to death. They'll climb a wall, they'll dig, they'll do whatever they have to get away.
And I've seen a dog literally just tear the wall apart, so it's very important. And then the other thing that we have here too, just for shelters in general, I don't know if you saw, there's the Big Bear Fire. Yeah. So the Big Bear Fire, their shelter, they're moving down to Devore.
Okay.
And so since they're moving down to Devore has high kill numbers. And so that means any dog that's available at Devore, if they're moving those dogs down to Devore, that means that there's going to be a lot of dogs that pass in Devore. So if you're thinking about adopting and you're out that way, get to the Devore shelter and save a life, because it really makes a difference.
And on another note, if you're going on vacation and you even have it in your mind that you want to take the animal to the shelter, call a friend. Call
a pet sitter. There's pet sitters out there.
I don't think I think the reason that they don't call a pet sitter is because they don't want to pay the $30, $40, $50, $60 a night that it costs. But
there's reasonable pet sitters out there. I mean, some of them, like you get some people who are just doing it for summer work, and they can stay at the house and things like that. But don't leave your dogs alone. Just don't do it.
And one thing I want to jump in, and I think that we haven't talked enough about, is the fact that please microchip your dogs, or just go get a tag. If you're going to go out of town, or even before 4th of July, check your dog.
A lot of the local shelters will also microchip for like $15 and stuff like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
and if you can't afford the $15, at least get a little tag at your PetSmart, your Petco. This is really the time of year to check your identification on the dog.
And you know what? Support those organizations out there, like in our area, there's Simi Valley Missing Pets and Dog Days Search and Rescue, that on the 4th of July, this is all they do. They don't have a 4th of July. From the 3rd or the 2nd until the 5th or 6th, they're out on the streets every day, every night, finding these dogs. Last year, I can't remember, but I think it was in the 20s, that 20 animals in Simi Valley got out, and every single one of them went back to their home.
That's incredible.
And they didn't end up in the shelter because of Simi Valley Missing Pets.
Well, and that is great. So make sure microchip, that's the key. So, and then keep your pets inside. And I think we're just about wrapping up, but like us on Facebook. So it's Rescue Radio.
And today we had Petey, who was Pet of the Week. He'll be going straight to PawWorks directly after this. And you have Ariel?
Yes, and I have Ariel. So Ariel here, she's our Jets joint, our medical case. She was the one from last week. She's doing fantastic, so we wanted to give everyone an update on that. And so, yes, it's definitely important, microchip, just as you said, Morgan. I mean, just get a tag, get a collar. If you need a tag or collar, call me. I'll get one and send it to you.
Right. And I wanted to thank my business partner, Christina Morgan, for being on the show with us today. This is her first time.
Thank you, Morgan.
She was a virgin to the show.
Oh my goodness. Okay. We don't have conversations like that. So we're back to spay and neutering again.
We want a candied balls. I can't say virgin to the show.
I think I'm going to tag Candy Burris on this segment. Absolutely on Instagram.
So, well, yes, thank you very much for joining us, Christina. And so we have PawWorks, so you can like PawWorks on Facebook, and you have the website, Animal Foundation of America. And we have Rescue Radio, which is just, bring attention to the show. And feel free to call us. We're every week on Saturday from 12 to 1, and we'd be happy to hear your rescue stories. What kind of things do you go through?
But you guys have a great week, and you'll hear from us next week. You're listening to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk Radio.
Thank you.
Channels, the radio channels, CRN.
Here's
With SRN News, I'm Ron DeRockstra. Authorities in upstate New York have intensified their search for a second escaped convicted murderer after Richard Matt was shot and killed by a Border Patrol agent Friday. New York State Police Superintendent Joseph D'Amico says police found a cabin where a gun had recently been fired and called in for more agents who arrived by helicopter and searched the woods.
A tactical team from Customs and Border Protection met up with Matt in the woods, challenged him, and he was shot dead by Border Patrol at that time.
Hundreds of law enforcement officers are hunting for David Sweat in the woods near the Canadian border. Also at SRNnews.com, Tunisia's prime minister has announced new security measures following a deadly terrorist attack at a Mediterranean resort Friday that killed 38 people. But for British tourist David Beardmore, it doesn't matter. He doesn't plan on coming back anytime soon.
It did take a while for me to come back again. It's just that what's back in mind. You could hear everything what went on, the bullets and the sirens and stuff like that.
The new measures include closing renegade mosques and posting Army reservists at hotels and tourist sites. Secretary of State John Kerry's in Vienna, Austria this weekend to try to finalize a successful nuclear arms deal with Iran, something he says all sides want.
We're hopeful. We have a lot of hard work to do. There's some very tough issues, and I think we all look forward to getting down to the final effort here to see whether or not a deal is possible.
The deadline for getting something done is June 30th. Funerals for 3 of the 9 people slain in a shooting at Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston being held today. And authorities are stepping up security at events marking Armed Forces Day across Britain after news report that officials foiled a bomb attack by ISIS on a military parade in London. This is SRN News.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had numerous credit cards, and I was struggling with paying them off because being a teacher, you don't make a whole lot of money.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-758-5360 to talk to a certified counselor.
I had heard about Trinity, so I made the call. They took care of all of my credit cards, and now I am completely debt-free.
Trinity will consolidate your bills, stop collections calls, stop late fees, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
The people at Trinity are very friendly. They will do whatever you need them to do in order for you to feel better about being in a very difficult place.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-758-5360.
My name is Ann, and I'm debt-free for keeps.
That's 1-800-758-5360.
Vermont's independent U.S. Senator has undergone successful surgery for prostate cancer. SRN's Linda Kenyon has the story.
Senator Angus King released a statement shortly after his Friday surgery saying he is feeling fine and eager to return to work. Senator King's wife, who made the announcement, said King is sore and, in her words, boring us all with bad prostate jokes. This is Senator King's second bout with cancer. He was treated for malignant melanoma decades ago. King, who is 71, says he has every plan to continue working and to run for re-election in 2018. Linda Kenyon, SRN News, Capitol Hill.
One Shell offshore drill rig is headed to Alaska. A second is poised to leave for Arctic waters, but Royal Dutch Shell still lacks final federal permits that would allow exploratory drilling and possible confirmation of rich oil reserves under the Chukchi Sea. This is SRN News. Authorities say 2 men were bitten by sharks off the coasts of the Carolinas, bringing to 6 the number of attacks in the past 2 weeks.
A 47-year-old man was bitten multiple times in the back in waters off North Carolina's Outer Banks Friday. The other, a 43-year-old man, was attacked by a shark near Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. Both men were taken to hospitals with non-life-threatening injuries. Sharks have attacked several children along North Carolina's coast this month, including a 13-year-old girl who lost her left arm below the elbow and a 16-year-old boy who lost his left arm above the elbow. Patrick Foss, SRN News.
Authorities in North Carolina say they have 1 man in custody and are searching for 3 other murder suspects. The 3 24-year-old men from Conway are believed to be armed and dangerous. They face multiple charges, including first-degree murder and firearm possession by a felon. More details at srnnews.com. I'm Ron DeRockstra.
CRN travelers, relax at the beautiful Fountain Grove Inn and Conference Center in Santa Rosa, California. Come to quality and come to luxury. Experience the newly renovated guest rooms. They're generously sized and they're decorated in the Tuscan tradition. They have great, incredible pillow-top mattresses, luxurious linens, and down-filled comforters. The Fountain Grove Inn also offers complimentary Wi-Fi and internet access. There's warm cookies and coffee every evening in the hotel lobby, and you can visit the newly remodeled Equus Restaurant and Equus Lounge with its new wine bar. It's the ideal place to relax and enjoy a glass of wine and watch our What's Cooking on Wine show on CRN with host Larry Van Alst on Wednesdays. It's the Fountain Grove Inn, Hotel, and Conference Center located in the heart of Sonoma wine country. It's easily located in Santa Rosa off the 101 Fountain Grove Parkway exit. Call 707-578-6101. That's 707-578-6101.